Bosco, you changed our world. You changed our world. So, I mean, this is my second Indian food day. My first one was yesterday. But yeah, I mean, as I said, Father Bosco, you really have had a great impact on us and sharing, what you already have. But I think it's time to share a little bit more about your experiences and, just the good work that you do. So, Father Bosco, thank you.
Thank you so much, Father Andrew. Are you all sweating? The sign that you have eaten well is that you should sweat. I hope it's not too spicy for you. I'm so glad you are here, and none of you complain. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I really appreciate Jay and Chris, who put in so much time preparing this. If you want more, you can take home. If you want me to prepare again, when I come back next time, I'll do that. I wanted to show some pictures of Father Bob's visit, but it would have been better. When he was here, but anyway, he will come soon. You see all those flowers and garlands, so he liked that very much, and also his feet washed goat milk, and he liked it very much. So this evening we are not going to talk about the poverty in India or the work that I do, Talitha Kumi, because most of you know it already, isn't it? It would be a repetition if I talk to you more about Talitha Kumi. How many of you know or remember what the word Talitha Kumi is? Oh, very few hands. All right, okay. I will first explain that word. Talitha means little girl. Kumi means arise. You all remember the story or the miracle that Jesus raised a teenage girl to life? Yes. So the girl was dead and everybody crying, and Jesus comes and tells this funny comment, oh, she's not dead, she's only sleeping. If you go to a house where a person is dead and if you tell this, what would they say?
You're crazy.
You're crazy. Jesus is crazy. But he's wonderful. And you know what he did? He touched her and he pronounced this word, Talitha Kumi. Little girl, arise. So we are trying to help young girls, save them from human trafficking and also vulnerable situation, and provide for their education, safe shelter. Father Bob will talk more about it. But I want to talk to you how incredible India is. Do you know that most doctors outside United States, here in India, here in United States, are Indians? Engineers and doctors in America, most of them are Indians. We are very angry with America because you have taken away all the best doctors and all the best engineers. But anyway, they're doing a lot of good also back in India. So India is incredible. So I want you to watch this video which shows that India is incredible.
your global vacation home, you always have the whole.
India is really, really incredible. You know why it is incredible? I will show you that it is a subcontinent. It has 1.3 billion. Soon we are going to overtake China. And we have wonderful countries around us: Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bangladesh, and you see so many states in India. It is really, really incredible. It's a 5,000-year-old civilization. And you know how many languages we have? Yeah, 325 languages, and you see over 1,600 dialects and official languages and 29 states. So this will give you a picture of why and how India is an incredible country. And we are the fourth largest economy. And who is the first largest economy? Which one?
China.
America or China? Okay, I want to believe that America is the biggest economy, but sometimes China seems to overtake. But it is fastest growing IT superpower. We have so many intelligent engineers, and railways is the biggest employer in the world. So this is a little bit about Indian history. It goes back to 3,200 years before Christ. And Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, all were born in India. And Christianity also has its presence from the first century. St. Thomas the Apostle, he visited India. And like we have Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, India also has Brahma and Vishnu, Shiva. They are the Trinity, and we have also millions of gods. So India is a pantheistic country. There are over 3 million gods in India, okay? And the great epics you might not understand, all these Mahabharata, Ramayana, and probably you may be interested in this. Yoga, do you know that it is made in India? Okay, how many of you practice yoga? All right, practice yoga, you will be healthy, you will be happy, and you will be charming. All right. And we have martial arts, and also America was invaded by British. India also was colonized by British. You hate British and we hate British. Yeah, but okay, that's history. We don't want to go. All right, and like you have 4th of July, a day of independence. We also have 15th of August. That's our Independence Day. Actually, I thank the British. It's because of them you have 4th of July to celebrate all these years. We also have 15th of August to celebrate. And yeah, I'm very grateful to the British because they taught us English. That's why we are able to communicate. And they also taught us cricket. Cricket is mother of baseball. I know Americans don't want to do what the British do, so you have the baseball, another version of cricket. Okay? Yeah. So this is our national emblem. This is our national animal, national bird. All right, I just want to, okay, you know this figure, Mahatma Gandhi. You know, he's the father of our nation, an embodiment of non-violence. And Swami Vivekananda, he's a champion of humanitarianism. Okay, and I want to just stick with this person for some time. You recognize her? Do you like her?
Yes.
She's close to my heart, and she's also close to Father Bob's heart. That's what drew him to come to India, and we helped him get the relics of Mother Teresa to St.Ambrose Church. Before we know a little more about Mother Teresa, I want to share some funny or humorous story. You know, when I speak, it could be very boring. So I make use of some jokes or humorous stories to make it alive. So there was this little girl who looked at her grandmother, seeing how wrinkled her face is, her hair is gray, and she is not so pretty. And she asked Grandma, Grandma, who made you? Grandma said, God the Almighty made me. After a while, the little girl saw how pretty she was in the mirror, so charming, and she asked the same question, Grandma, who made me? Grandma said, the same God who made me also made you. Then the little girl remarked, God is getting better at his work. Yes, God always gets better at his work. But we humans, we don't want other people to get better. Maybe because of our beliefs, because of our perspective. You know, in India there are a lot of poor people. There is so much poverty. And Mother Teresa is associated with taking care of the poor, the dying destitutes, the orphans, and the sick, the abandoned, the homeless, the street children, and she is an apostle of the poor. So I would like to show a small little video about Mother Teresa, and after that we will continue.
Mother Teresa, to me, an icon of compassion and care for the poor and disadvantaged.
Mother Teresa was baptized Anya Skonja Boyajiu in Skopje, Macedonia around August 26, 1910. Born of Albanian descent, she joined the Loreto Sisters of Dublin, Ireland at the age of 18 and took the name Sister Mary Teresa.
One of the reasons some religious members take on new names, they have a favorite saint, or they have someone who embodies for them a vision, like Pope Francis. It's Francis of Assisi.
In 1931, Mother Teresa traveled to Calcutta, India to teach at an all-girls high school. But on September 10, 1946, a second calling from Christ led Mother Teresa to leave her convent and devote herself to working with the poorest of the poor.
Mother Teresa, to me, an icon of compassionate care for the poor and disadvantaged.
Mother Teresa was baptized Anya Skonja Boyajiu in Skopje, Macedonia around August 26, 1910. Born of Albanian descent, she joined the Loreto Sisters of Dublin, Ireland at the age of 18 and took the name Sister Mary Teresa.
One of the reasons some religious members take on new names, they have a favorite saint, or they have someone who embodies for them a vision, like Pope Francis. It's Francis of Assisi.
In 1931, Mother Teresa traveled to Calcutta, India to teach at an all-girls high school. But on September 10, 1946, a second calling from Christ led Mother Teresa to leave her convent and devote herself to working with the poorest of the poor. With Vatican permission, in 1950, Mother Teresa created the Missionaries of Charity.
Mother Teresa is one of the great humanitarians of the 20th century because of her ability
to love those who were the most vulnerable in society. The work she did in India really challenged entrenched notions of caste and gender roles, and she worked very closely with lepers and other people who were disenfranchised, marginalized, dispossessed.
During the 60s, Mother Teresa opened hospices, orphanages, and leper houses all over India, and later expanded internationally. In 1982, during the siege of Beirut, Mother Teresa traveled through a war zone to evacuate 37 children, and later assisted radiation victims at Chernobyl and earthquake victims in Armenia.
Mother Teresa cares about people. She recognizes their spiritual dignity. She takes care of not just their spiritual needs, but their bodily needs as well. And she gathers other people to help her do that. That, in my mind, is a good humanitarian.
In 1979, Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and donated the $192,000 prize fund to the poor in India. 6 years later, President Ronald Reagan awarded her with a Presidential Medal of Freedom. By 1986, Mother Teresa operated 517 missions in more than 100 countries.
A very charismatic nun, this little nun with a wrinkled face and a very simple white sari, caring for the dying on the street, people that have so little hope. That's one of the reasons that she was given the Nobel Prize.
After years of suffering from heart, lung, and kidney problems, Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997. 2 years later, Pope John Paul II opened a formal process toward beatification to make Mother Teresa an official Catholic saint.
Thank you so much, Father Andrew. You are so humble to kneel down and help everyone hear this. We have here Father Bob. Let's give Father Bob a great round of applause. He is the reason why we're all here. He gave the permission, and he even came and visited the kitchen and helped us cook better. So Father Bob came to India, and I already showed you pictures when he was in India, how he was garlanded and the goat milk.
I really feel bad I didn't wash your feet in goat milk.
Okay, so this is what I want to talk to you about: incredible India and incredible people in India, especially Mother Teresa, the work that she did. It's amazing. And Father Bob, in many ways, has the heart of Mother Teresa, and also his niece, Becca, has the heart of Mother Teresa. I would like to invite also Jay and Meghna here, so that you could see these girls or these women are incredible. These are incredible. Please come over. Jay and Meghna and Becca, please come. Jay has prepared this food. I mean, she worked from morning till evening, and she was coordinating with Joe and Chris. Thank you so much for doing this. She is from Tamil Nadu, she is from Andhra, and we have Anna from Angela Marici. She hails from Kerala, and we have some people from Brunswick. Originally India or Pakistan when it was part of India, Karachi. And also we have Mr. Zaid.
Zaid had to leave, but these are friends of Zaid.
Okay, friends of Zaid. Although we belong to India, we are from India, we don't speak the same language. And to talk to each other, we have to use English. So now, Jay would just greet you, and afterwards, Meghna will also introduce herself, and then Father Bob will introduce Becca.
Hi everyone. My name is Jay, and my husband Joe and my son Joey. We live in Strongsville, and we started coming to St.Ambrose last year. So we've been very blessed to find a fellowship where we can be part of more and serve, and this has been such a blessing to our family.
Hi everyone, my name is Meghna. I'm from India, South India, Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada. So I came here for my master's. It's a team for studying in US for me from small time onwards. So by God grace, I'm here today because of Father Bob. Thank you so much, Father. I'm really thankful to everyone coming here and eating our Indian ethnic tea. Thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. So here's a long story short, so I won't bore you with all the details, right? So long story short, Father Bosco has actually been coming to the fast for years. Unbeknownst to me, he was coming to the fast because on fast day, honestly, I don't get a chance to see a lot of what goes on, just kind of keeping the machine going, honestly. So the same was true this year. Well, at one point, a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, he comes up to me afterwards and says, I would really, really, really like to get together with you. And most of you know that I will meet with just about anybody at any time, at any cause. So here comes Father Bosco, like, what the devil do you want, Bosco? Right? I have no idea. So anyhow, if I'm persistent, he is more. He's telling me the stories about the things that he's doing, and he says, you ought to come and visit, you ought to come and visit, you ought to come and visit. Every other day, you ought to come and see, you ought to come and see. So eventually, I'm going to go to see just so he stops emailing me. And so we zipped down to Vijayawada. It wasn't quite the zip that you would like to think. And it was just really a humbling experience, first of all. I honestly have always had just a great appreciation for Mother Teresa, and just to be able to see the work that she's done that's going on in Vijayawada, and especially hearing the story. So why is lovely Becca standing up here? So first of all, we're going to sell her senior pictures. She's going to be a senior in high school. She got them this week. They're amazing. They're going to go for $1,000 a piece, right? And I want you to know, I'm her godfather as well as her uncle, right? As well as her pastor, right? I am the first guy that got the senior picture, right? I should be the only guy that gets pictures. So anyhow, why is Becca standing up here other than those obvious things, right? So long story short, when I was down there, I said, like, you know, it broke my heart. Like, I can only imagine, I would never let these things happen to my niece. I would never, ever, ever let my niece, honestly, get sold off, get abused, get trafficked. And so long story short, I kept saying that, like, I would never let my Becca, right? I would never let that happen. Well, I think she's a virtual saint in Vijayawada now, right? So they don't know about her family, they don't know about anybody else, but they all talk about one thing in Vijayawada now. You know what that one thing is? Becca. Because that's really true. But because in my heart, right, I could never imagine any young woman, any girl going through the things that we saw and experienced. And that's why Becca is like lauded in Vijayawada, right? Because my inspiration, right, is really just that no girl should ever have to go through these things. So that's why Megan is here. Honestly, you know, you don't have to do this, but we're going to try to raise money to get her to finish her education. If that's something that you can do and you want to be a part of that, you can make the checks out to St.Ambrose. We're going to try to get her to school so that she can be an example to all the other girls, that if we work together, we can break the cycles of poverty, of human trafficking, and of all those sorts of things. And just honestly, I would never let my niece, you would never let your grandchildren, your own children, your nieces in this case, go through the things that you're hearing and seeing about. So Becca, I think there's a presentation for you. They don't care about me. They don't care about your mom and dad. They certainly don't care about your brothers, right? But they do care about Becca.
Okay, before we give this present, I would like Becca also to say a few words. And afterwards, if you have some questions, we will take for 5 to 7 minutes some questions. And the floor is open.
Hello everybody, my name is Becca. I'm going to be a senior in high school this year at Padawan, Parma. I play tennis and I'm in the choir and theater, and I'm also my class's vice president. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to present all the girls in India. And yeah, thank you for all coming tonight.
I won't answer your questions. I want Jay and Meghna and Becca answer your questions. Okay, any questions related to, girl empowerment or human trafficking or girl education, please ask, and they will respond. May I request Jay and Meghna come.
How are you going to implement these programs?
Okay.
So if you listen to the news this morning, Father Bosco actually made the news this morning, right? So I think one of the reasons he's here is that we've actually, typically in a normal summer, there's a number of priests from his diocese that will come and do mission appeals across the United States. So long story short, part of the reason for physically being here was we actually have been developing a website, some video and some appropriate collateral so that people can actually know what's going on and how they can help. And the practical reality, Megan is a little bit of a different scenario here, but the practical reality is that, and here's the game changer is this. If your family doesn't have money for you to go to 11th grade, you get sold off. And you're going to be horrified to know that the difference between going on to the 11th grade and getting sold off is $350. That's the difference. And that's really the cultural reality, right? So that's where, and again, nobody has to do all of that, but the reality is that if we all work together and these other priests and sisters, do their mission talks hopefully next summer, that will actually help get this with traction. So we've been building out a website, and that's really the game changer right there. It's really that simple. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I actually did some work, like a human trafficking mission in Thailand. My question is, when you say sold off after 11th grade, are we talking either sold off into a marriage and or a trafficking situation? And is this in a particular state in India? Or, I'm just a little confused.
So that's a really good question. So there's a number of realities that are going on. So there is in India, the entire country of India still very much works on the caste system. So ultimately, we are working, especially in the area that we are in southern India, Vijayawada, of really trying to empower the religious sisters. There's about 1,000 religious sisters, which Father Bosco and I, and actually a number of people here are working with them twice a month to really empower and equip them to change the cultural mind. So a silly example, Father Bosco, wherever he went, he's very slippery, right? Right? So anyhow, long story short, one of the things that he's been meeting with the sisters in their religious houses, and I said to him, Bosco, you need to wash the dishes. Well, it's a silly little thing. In their culture, guys don't do the dishes. Now, in the Steck family home, right, you don't have a choice, right? But there, they don't want, so transformational already. Just a silly example is he's washing the dishes, which is breaking, if you will, the mind, breaking the what's there, trying to raise up a different scenario, right? The other thing, if you think about this, women religious sisters in our country, they actually broke the glass ceiling for every woman. They were the first ones to be educators. They were the first ones to be presidents of universities. They were the ones that were in healthcare. They became presidents of healthcare systems, and on from there. And women religious, if you really think about it and really get to the story, they transformed this country for every woman, right? Well, and honestly, they never got the credit that they really deserved, because they did that for us. So, I mean, I'm willing to borrow a storyline from history, and so we've been working relentlessly with these religious sisters, first and foremost, to start changing the cultural mind and try to start breaking the glass ceiling for people like Megan, among others. Then very specifically to your point, so if a girl finishes her 10th grade at that point, she can be sold to marriage. That would be a terrible best case scenario, or she could be sold into a trafficking situation. Either way, it's not going to be her best day. But obviously, getting sold off into marriage is better than getting sold off into a trafficking situation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's far more than you asked, but give me a microphone and I'll give you the whole answer, right? Other questions?
Father Bob, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, kind of shifting away from the...
Isn't it inspiring to see Zach here tonight?
Yes. From the...
My nephew doesn't have a choice. Zach, he has a choice.
So shifting away from the end to which Father Bosco and you guys work, so how do we reach, because there's one part of the equation still that is kind of unanswered, reaching the young men. How do we get to them to instill better values in them so they do not participate in this system?
Right, so what do you do with the men? So you have to pick the path that we can have the quickest, fastest path of protecting the young women. And so the path that we are working on right now, it's not that there aren't some of these other things. That's going to be honestly far more daunting. But if the young woman kicks, screams, and shouts loud enough, the guy's going to back away. Or at least we're going to empower her to kick and scream and shout. Kathy.
What is the goal of how much education does a woman need in order to be self-asserting and self-sustaining? Or is that possible?
So how much education? So more importantly than just the education piece. So you have highly motivated young women like Meghana, right? So highly motivated and very intelligent. So it's not just to not get sold off, it's to unleash their God-given gifts and potential, right? And so it's not just so they don't get sold, it's silly as it sounds, it's if we empower enough women, and really raise them up, it's going to change their lives and change the culture. And like the goal, like for Meghana, is to help her get her degree, her master's degree in this case, so that she can not only be an inspiration to the girls in her community, but that she can also support them. And again, the delta is $350, right? And so let's pretend she gets a job in the United States here for a couple of years, making $60,000. She could, in fact, support quite a few women. And that's where, tongue-in-cheek, so I think Father Bosco put Becca on the spot here. So she just gave you her curriculum vitae, yes? So she's a tennis princess, and she's the vice president of her class, and her senior pictures look good. All of which these young women have none of those opportunities. So there is the contrast for you. So wonderfully, thanks to her hardworking parents, she has all this opportunity where where not because there are less people, just they don't have that opportunity. And so that's really part of the education, awareness, cultural transformation that I think we're trying to do here.
Is there any kind of a affiliate program or some kind of associate membership? That would be coming a nun, but a group affiliated with all these sisters that these girls could participate in instead of getting
Yeah,
something?
so I'll give you the high level summary. So I am far from the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm on my way to the airport, and there was a couple of religious sisters with us, and I asked this question, right? They're different religious orders, right? Do you ever talk to each other? Do you ever work together? Answer?
No.
So piece number one is really trying to empower the religious sisters to work together. And part of that conversation is now every religious sister has, for lack of better terms, adopted 10 high school girls to individually work with. So just do the math, and again, there's an insane number of people just because there's a lot of people, right? But at least we have, give or take, 1,000 sisters, and every single one of them are now working individually, life coaching, for lack of better terms, with 10 girls. That was not going on 2 years ago. So that type of empowering the religious sisters to really be the force that they can be, and then having each of them do one-to-one, if you will, tutoring, coaching. They picked the number 10 as what they felt was reasonable given all their other commitments. So at least at this moment, give or take, we have 10,000 girls who are actually going to be coached, tutored, equipped, and hopefully, again, they're not the solution, but every step we take is a step forward in the right direction. So that's set. Go ahead.
Is there a underlying group of people trying to prevent this from happening? Are these girls in any kind of danger by going out there and trying to change the culture?
So that's that is actually the, again, we often didn't appreciate this, but that's the genius of religious life. They become a band of brothers or a band of sisters who support one another in really trying to live a prophetic life and point people in a different way. So God willing, right, that if the sisters are the advocates, if you will, if they stay banded and bonded together, they will draw support from one another, and God willing, there is both strength and safety in numbers.
My question was kind of like that. Is there any resistance from like parents or family members? Is there any resistance to have the girls advance?
So is there any resistance, right? So there's resistance. So first and foremost, if Father Bosco would wax eloquently for the next hour, he would tell you that we take our religious liberty and freedom for granted. So just in the time that I've become involved, the government literally took over all their banking accounts. The government shut every Catholic school in the country, right? In the region, I'm sorry. So if you want to talk about taking for granted, the ability to speak our religion, right? There's a soul-stirring reminder of it. Secondly, it really is shifting the cultural mind. So is a father upset if he doesn't get 20 chickens and 2 pigs for his daughter? He probably is, actually, right? But I think that's also part of the education and the awareness process.
My second part of the question is the government resisting any of these changes? I mean, I don't know anything about the culture or the country, so
Right.
it's just
So is the government resistant? I think I answered that in the first part, right? But ultimately, every child of God is a child of God, and they deserve to be treated as a child of God. I'll tell you a story about my lovely niece, Sarah, here. Okay? Stand up a second, Sarah. Show everybody. She's beautiful, isn't she, right? Right? In every way, she's beautiful, right? And so Meghana, actually heard me talking to my niece. And I always say, you are a
beautiful child of God.
I've said that since you were you had stinky diapers at 1 month old, right? Right? And all your life, what have I said?
Beautiful child of God.
Right? And Megan has never heard that. And that's, can you imagine and we can all do this, and we need to do this even in our own country, to see that every person is a beautiful child of God, and to treat each person with the dignity that comes from being a beautiful child of God. So every now and then I send her a picture of a beautiful flower. And then what do I say next?
Which is prettier?
Which is prettier, which is more beautiful? And the answer is?
Me.
Right? And can you imagine, just again, and we need to do the same thing here in our community. That every child of God deserves to be treated as beautiful, lovely, talented, amazing, incredible, uniquely equipped by God. And so if that's still a lot of work that we need to do here, can you only imagine how much work they have to do there? Make sense? Good?
Yes.
Brother Bosco, I think I stole the microphone. Okay? So I think tonight, first of all, is an opportunity, Father Bosco, to thank you for being here. You have taught so many of us about your culture. You've created an awareness, but you also taught us a happy song. And where did Luke go? My 10th grade nephew sings this song. He really does, right? Right, Bam Bam? J is for Jesus, O is for others, and Y is for you. J is for Jesus, O is for others, and Y is for you. So God bless you, Brother Bosco. We look forward to trying to support you as you walk forward here. And certainly if you want more information, and again, this was just a way of celebrating the culture and thanking Father Bosco. If there is something in your heart that wants to help support, Father Bosco has some literature there. You can do it through the website that we've made great progress. And then I think lastly, Becca, you are going to get covered with goat milk. I think that's true. I'm not lying. Can you imagine the surprise on the uncle's face when goat milk went flying all over me?
Thank you so much, Father Bob. This is amazing. He has created a great platform. When we first started this Talitha-Kumi, in next 5 years, our goal is to empower, educate 1,000 girls. Then when I told this to Father Bob, he said, no, 1,000 is too small a number. Father Bob says, bigger is better. So he says, 10,000. How is it possible? It's too ambitious. And he said, how many religious sisters are there in your diocese? Over 1,000. He said, if each sister takes care of 10 girls, 10,000. Simple maths. Father Bob, you are a modern day saint. Yeah. What he spoke, he just brought tears in Meghna's eyes. And I also see a couple of other people, tears, Yeah, we are in the transformation business. We want to transform lives. We want to touch the lives of as many vulnerable girls as possible, just like Mother Teresa did. So here we have Jay, who is a symbol of success. She came from the southernmost part of India, and now she's in the United States excelling. And she is, great inspiration for me. I am jealous of her actually, because she has a nice family, great job, And I wish all our girls could become like her. In their state, they have possibility of education. Could you tell about the educational facilities in your country and how you're able to come here, and now she is a doctor?
So I'm from Tamil Nadu, so I speak Tamil, and the part of India, so there is about 75 to 80% Christians. So it's one of those few places in India that is majority Christians. So just the small few towns that I'm talking about. So we do have better, we have a lot of churches, and even in my dad passed away when I was very little. Actually, he was sick. He got into an accident, and he had a spinal cord injury that so he couldn't talk or he couldn't walk, and anything neck down, he was disabled. So he was like that for 6 years, and my mom, she took care of him. So our church really helped me get education. So our Catholic church helped me go through the process. Although there isn't issues like other parts of India, for me, like I said, I'm just blessed to be in a less stressful environment in terms of oppression. But I still needed help, and the church guided me. I remember the father that he even went with me for after my 10th grade. So when I had to decide between biology, math, or math and computer science, so I chose biology, math. And then I did my engineering again through our support from our church members, always helping, guiding me which way to go. And I was working, and I always wanted to be in science, and that was always my dream. And someone from the church told me, why don't you try? And I did, and I came to Cleveland State 12 years ago. So I did my PhD at Cleveland State and postdoc at Case Western, and I now work for a company in more of a sales support position for a biotech company. So that's my story. But throughout the entire thing, I have been tremendously supported by the church members and priests in our locality, who has really taken on the father role in many times during the entire my journey.
Thank you so much, Jill. She is an inspiring person. I wish every Talitapmi girl would become like her. PhD, postdoc, and great job, and settle in Ohio. Okay. Okay. Now, Meghna will explain to you how girls are discriminated, marginalized, oppressed. And my own sister, when she gave birth to a baby girl, her husband and in-laws would not talk to her for 6 months because she gave birth to a baby girl. Let's listen to what happened to Meghna's sister. Okay, I will speak on her behalf. She is emotional. All right. Her sister gave birth to a baby girl, and her husband left her because she gave birth to a baby girl. And now her mother, she has to go for daily wage work and then feed her family and take care of her sister and also the little girl. I mean, it's a terrible situation. That's how girls are treated. And like Jay was accompanied by church or priest, what we are trying to do here is what Pope Francis talks often, the ministry of accompaniment. Father Bob doesn't need to do anything in India because he has enough of work at St.Ambrose. Also the fest and the school. But still he found time to go to Dominican Republic and to India. This is amazing. He has the heart of not only Mother Teresa, also Pope Francis. I think he has a hotline connection with Pope Francis because all that Pope Francis is thinking and implementing, he has already done it in here at St.Ambrose. Anyway, thank you so much, and you are the voice of many vulnerable girls. And finally, Becca, you are so inspiring. You inspired Father Bob, and every time I call him, he says, "My little Becca." She's not little anymore, but she's so beautiful. She has the heart of Mother Teresa. So we want to thank her by having a small little gift.
Becca's a big girl now. Big girl.
Yeah, he can show you.
That is super pretty. Thank you.
Father Bosco, I will close on 3 thoughts. So the good thing is, my own family comes to church here. They clearly have the sinner side of me down pat, right? Secondly, Luke made it back. Stand up a second, Luke. Okay. This is the other blessing of the family here. J is for Jesus. O is for others. And Y.
Why is for you?
That is true inspiration right there. And lastly, if all of you could extend your hands and join me as we ask God's blessing upon Father Bosco as he returns home to Vijayawada. Father Bosco, we pray that God's mighty spirit will fill your heart, that God will give you strength and courage and wisdom to really allow God to work through you to help transform your culture, to raise up young women and men in the heart of God, in the light of Christ, to do the work of building a better world for all of God's people. We pray that God will bless you, that God will watch over you, that God will protect you on the journey until we meet again. May God hold you in the palm of his hand. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
God bless you, Father Bosco. Jay, thank you so much. Megan, we look forward to being with you. Thank you to all who worked so hard, cooked so much, especially I think Chrissy Valentine learned Indian cuisine today, right? So God bless you one and all. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to learn more, Father Bosco has some information. And again, this will be an ongoing effort that we can do to help. Have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Father.